All right, so I'm gonna tell you how this kind of came to be. So big fan of the Zodiac watches. Like, we have always celebrated the vintage ones. They're charming, they're interesting, they play an important role in horological history. I think with a lot of modern watch brands today, you see design kind of pulling from the past, but there's always something missing. So when Zodiac agreed to do the collaboration, they were like, well, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to do a different bezel or a different colored dial? I think was probably a difficult person to work with, because we really held Zodiac's feet to the fire to create something that display modern watchmaking capabilities at its finest, but also without leaving any details out from the original, which ultimately created an icon.
They really brought us a unique challenge of going back to our original design archives and pulling that reference 691, that 1953 model, the unsigned Sea Wolf. So it predates all of our Sea Wolves before the brand at the time put Sea Wolf on the dial.
Finding an original reference 691 is basically impossible.
They do exist, but they are like unicorns. And so hopefully with the release of this, people can kind of, bring that back, and it starts opening up the conversation about that original model, and people appreciate this version even more as we brought it back from those archives. They were very specific on what they wanted out of this. And so we went through a lot of different iterations where the bracelet wasn't quite right, or the dial wasn't like the right level of lume.
And everything with this watch, the bracelet, the crown, the bezel, dial, movement, has intention behind it. Nothing was done in haste. Nothing was done to just check a box.
Going back to this original piece from that era and keeping it, manual wound was something really unique for us.
I'm just so stoked to see something that really I think took us almost 2 years to create as our first official collaboration with a watch brand in the metal. It's like, it's here. I'm kind of in like this weird shocked moment where I was so nervous to see the final production units, not just the prototypes, and to see the hands sweep across the dial. This is bringing this thing full circle for me.
This being an original tool watch, and that being something that obviously is driving a lot of the demand in the market, like I'm hoping people understand that and relate to it and get it, appreciate the storytelling, and even though it doesn't say Sea Wolf, it is kind of a nod to that original concept that predates that Sea Wolf model.
Thanks Zodiac for believing in us and allowing us to kind of maybe push our boundaries a bit at times, and for allowing us to create something that I think really represents the collector community and ultimately what the Sea Wolf is and it was.